Let's take a few minutes to go over the differences between Melodyne Uno, Essentials, Create, and Studio. At this stage, you may be unfamiliar with some of the features I'm going to be referring to, but don't worry, everything will be explained in the tutorial. Let's start with the two ends of the spectrum, Uno and Studio. Melodyne Studio is a full studio production package, whereas Uno can be viewed as a pitch correction and sample editing utility. First off, the biggest difference is in the number of tracks. Melodyne Studio has a number of tracks, each with their own editor. You can think of Uno as a single editor of a single track, hence the name Uno. Uno doesn't have any of the correcting detection features, i.e., correct detection mode or the MDD editor. Uno doesn't have any MIDI functionality, so no virtual instruments, real-time control, or audio to MIDI parameters. So strike out everything we talk about in the MIDI and MIDI remote videos. Uno does have scale snap, but it doesn't have the tone and scale to define alternate tunings and scales like we showed in the tone and scale video. In Uno, you can't define tempo, nor is there any features that we talk about in the variable tempo editing mode video. So you are limited to dealing with largely fixed tempos. Uno can be used with other programs via Rewire, but it does not include the Melodyne bridge. We will cover Rewire on this DVD in its own tutorial. So there's a lot of things that the Studio version is that the Uno version isn't. And hey, all the more incentive to buy the full program. But if all you want to do is fix the pitch and timing on a vocal here and there, Uno has all of Melodyne's pitch correction magic in a nice, low-cost alternative. Melodyne Essentials is the free version included with various audio products you might buy, intended to introduce you to the Melodyne world. At first glance, you might be thinking you're getting a version of Uno for free, but it's missing most of the key editing components that make Melodyne what it is, such as automatic pitch and timing correction, editing of pitch drift, pitch transitions, formants, and amplitude. If you've bought this DVD, you might as well take the next logical step and just buy the program. Create lies in between Uno and Studio. For starters, it shares a lot of key things in common with Studio. Create and Studio both share the Melody Manager, which we will cover in its own tutorial, which is not included with Uno. Both Create and Studio have the Melodyne Bridge, which we will also cover in its own tutorial in this DVD. Both Create and Studio are multi-track and can generate harmonies. Create is limited to 8 tracks, while Studio has unlimited tracks. Some of you might be saying, well, that by itself is not a big deal, really. Why should I buy Studio then? Well, with Studio, you aren't limited to monophonic material. You can also edit polyphonic or complex material such as full mixes or loops. So Studio therefore has 2 algorithms, local sound synthesis and polyphonic local sound synthesis, while Create only has local sound synthesis. Studio can support higher bit rates and sample rates all the way up to 32-bit 192 kHz. So now we've got that all straight, pick up the version of Melodyne that will do the job for you, and let's get started.